Hey everyone, this is Kieran from the Musculoskeletal Clinic. Today's exercise is looking at a little bit of our lower spinal and lumbar rotation, not so much pelvic. It's an area that gets locked up for a lot of people, particularly with like breathing issues, just because these are where a lot of the breathing muscles attach, and a lot of breathing issues can be correlated with loss of breathing flexibility or breathing range, particularly in that diaphragm sort of bucket handle excursion coming sideways. You need mobility or flexibility in these abdominal muscles. And particularly with inhalation and exhalation being coupled with certain movements, inhalation coupled with a spinal extension and an exhalation coupled with a spinal flexion, you need to be able to still breathe in when you're flexed and breathe out when you're extended. But starting with what's coupled is a little bit easier from, usually to sort of resonate with and reproduce, and you can work towards the opposite, which is a harder skill. So what we're trying to do here is promote rotation and extension through kind of that sort of bra strap territory, middle of the thoracic spine, down into bottom of the lumbar. You're going to get rotation through here. You're not going to get as much rotation through your lumbar spine or your lower back. Most of your rotation happens more in that upper thoracic or middle thoracic, just by nature of the shape of the facet joints. But with the extension, what's going to help you push the range a bit more is really focusing on a big inhale. But you want that inhale to go down into here. You don't want it to be up in here. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just not part of the movement we're trying to achieve, which is extension and rotation in this lower part of the rib cage and through their vertebral attachments. So if you're not sure how to breathe down in that area, you might start with a extension-based breathing exercise, like our prone breathing, where you're trying to learn how to breathe sideways and breathe into your back. That's going to be a nice precursor to building this capacity. So I'm going to come onto elbows and knees. The extension component here, again, if you've watched, say, the quadruped rotation videos, I need to be able to leverage off the ground. And in this leverage point, I've got if I turn towards you guys and turn to my right, I've got my left arm. I need to push into the ground, and then I can use my right arm to kind of assist the rotation a little bit. But I also want to be able to have some capacity there to rotate without the assistance of my arm. For example, what if I need to rotate like this, but reach that way? Those are opposite movements between my right arm and my back through here. The sort of sequence of rotation and what happens is covered a little bit more in the quadruped rotation video, so go watch that for some of the more kinematics or the coupling of joints and movement. It'll give you some context around why we're doing what we're doing. But in this case, I just want to be able to push away from the ground. Can I try and look, say, at my right foot over there or even my left foot? And I might even put my hand in there to reach for it. The trick is that I'm not going sideways. Not a bad thing, just a different movement. It's more frontal plane movement. I want sagittal extension, so I'm going to look up, and then I want to rotate and come over. I'm going to breathe in. I'm thinking about opening this way, right? This way plus the rotation, and I'm trying to breathe down into this part where my hand is. So if I put my hand there and then breathe, okay, I can get my head out of it, so I could look this way. I'm pushing with this knee into the ground and this elbow as a thing to leverage off of. I need something to be able to rotate from. They create a fixation point for me to rotate. My left leg isn't that involved in the pushing away. It's more involved in creating more rotation. So I could straighten my left knee like this. So I'm doing this with my left side. And so now I'm getting a little bit more leg involvement, but the goal obviously is about getting the rotation back into the lower rib cage and spine here, and a little bit of lumbar spine. From this angle, if I go the opposite way, so I'm pushing away from the ground and I'm opening up like this, and I'm trying to look over and rotate, and shoulder reaches down, really reaching for my foot. I could take my hand out of it and just really try and rotate and open up through, breathing into my rib cage. Okay? So trickier than it looks, give it a go. it's definitely challenging. Make sure you have the passive flexibility first. So go through some of our spinal rotation extension exercises. Again, it's talked about in the Quadruped video a bit more in detail. But if you don't have the relaxed flexibility there, it's going to be hard for you to demonstrate the active flexibility, just because the relaxed flexibility requires, the active flexibility requires the relaxed flexibility to be there. You have to be able to demonstrate the range. So for example, if I can push my wrist full flexibility here, I can then have the potential to pull it up myself. If I can only go that far in a relaxed way, I'm not actively going to be able to go past that. I'm only going to be able to go to that same point, potentially less. Some people have the full passive flexibility. They can go the whole way in a relaxed way, but they can only pull themselves halfway. So just different starting points for different people, and I'd encourage you to just give it a test first, and there's some videos on that, and if you get a bit stuck, then you can use some of the stretches for that, for lumbopelvic rotation, extension. And once you get the flexibility, or concurrently, you're also working on this active flexibility, okay? So really good range to get back, particularly useful for lunges, walking, kicking, things like that. So let us know if you have any questions. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.